Most of you have already seen the beautiful all-new Plymouth for 1955, a car that's aglow with beauty and alive with power. Without a doubt, its advanced styling and forward-thrusting lines will prove a sensation to the American public. Here is no mere facelifting job on last year's model, but an exciting new departure in automotive design. A completely new car in the low price field. Some people will buy this car on sight, but even with all its gorgeous styling and its many dramatic new features, the 1955 Plymouth can't ask for a single order. This is a job for you, the salesman. This exciting new car, with your salesmanship, can make this your golden year. For in the modern marketplace, even beauty must be sold. Prospects will surely praise Plymouth's new style, but it's up to you to give them a reason for buying now. And that's what this film is all about. We're going to eavesdrop on a good, aggressive Plymouth salesman and see how he presents the 1955 Plymouth to a young couple. The name of the salesman is, well, let's call him Jack Porter. He's always been a firm believer in Plymouth quality, and he's studied this sales-potent new model. Because Porter, like the rest of us, knows that never before has a car salesman had the opportunities offered by the new Plymouth. Right now, Jack is about to show his prospects the floor model of the all-new Plymouth 455. So let's listen in on Jack's sales talk and see if we can't pick up some useful tips.
Say, my wife saw Plymouth on the street this morning and could hardly wait to get me over here.
Sounds like she really goes for this car, Mr. Bailey.
Don't let him fool you. We both like what we've seen.
That I can understand, and believe me, you got lots of company. This new Plymouth has got everybody excited. We've had a record crowd of people in here looking at it.
This car sure is a change from last year's model.
It's more than a change, Mr. Bailey. The Plymouth designers were able to start with a fresh sheet of paper for this car. So you're looking at a completely new car, from bumper to bumper. Plymouth wasn't forced to warm over any old features. That's why you see a new, different, taut look. See how the metal is stretched tight between points. It's the same look you see on the swept back wing of a jet plane. Sleek appearance. The taut look is what makes the Plymouth appear to be in motion, even when it's parked in your driveway. People are noticing that this year because it makes Plymouth stand out in its field. Another thing they're noticing is the way the Plymouth slopes inward above the belt line. That puts the mass of the car down low. This feeling of ground hugging and that slim, trim roof line give you an impression of graceful power, don't they?
Yes, it's sort of the continental touch, isn't it?
Yes, and that's borne out by the way the chrome is used to tie in the whole design. The side chrome, for instance, looks good because it's used to accent the basically good lines of the body itself. Those good lines are formed right in the body metal. Now, this particular car has the optional full-dress trim package. That includes the windshield visor, the front door finish trim, the wide trim on the drip molding, and the medallion on the lower quarter panel.
Let's pause here for a moment and notice a few things about Jack's presentation. One, he begins with an overall view of the car. This gives his prospects a chance to appreciate the new Plymouth in its entirety before taking in the details. Two, he emphasizes the fact that the 55 Plymouth is completely new. Three, and most important of all, he sells the new features. He doesn't just point to them. He knows the car is attractive, but he also knows it takes a salesman to prove it. So he nails down the good first impression by mentioning the taut look, the feeling of motion, the ground-hugging appearance. Jack also pointed out the wide public acceptance of the 55 Plymouth. It's a popular car. And when prospects know a lot of other people are planning to buy Plymouth, they'll realize it's a wise investment for them, too. Now, let's get back to salesman Jack Porter and his prospects. He's going to make sure their enthusiastic first impression sticks by telling them why the Plymouth is so pleasing to the eye.
One reason why this new Plymouth makes such a hit with everybody is that it avoids the two extremes in car design.
What do you mean, the two extremes?
Well, maybe you've noticed how some cars tend to fall into two categories. Either they're very round and bulbous, like a mushroom, or else they're sharp and angular. I think you'll agree that the new Plymouth has a style all its own, different from other cars, and with every part styled to please the eye. Notice how the lines are clean and brisk and graceful, almost as if the car were poised for flight. That's what we mean when we talk about the forward-thrusting lines of the new Plymouth.
Say, is it my imagination, or is this car a whale of a lot bigger than last year's?
It is a lot bigger, and lower, too, Mr. Bailey. As a matter of fact, this great new Plymouth is over 10 inches longer. It's a big car, all right. And talking about size, here's another interesting feature. See how the tail lights are hooded, like the headlights?
Yeah, I go for that.
They're not only attractive touches in themselves, but it's those reverse angles down low at the ends that make the car look like it's really going someplace. They make this big car look even bigger. And that single line of side chrome from headlight to tail light also increases the appearance of length. In fact, if you didn't know this car was a Plymouth, wouldn't you take it for a car in a much more expensive price class?
Yeah, I didn't know the first one I saw was a Plymouth until I looked at the nameplate.
One of the outstanding differences is this grille. Personally, I consider this one of the most beautiful touches on the whole car. Notice how this single rich crossbar has a broadening effect on the front of the car. And the fluted central portion and the curve on each side give it a clean, light, graceful appearance. And then notice how the chrome treatment is carried between the headlights, along the bottom edge of the hood, so it integrates the grille styling. Just compare that with any other car, and I think you'll agree this new Plymouth has the best-looking front end on the road. And, of course, the V insignia on the 8s give an added touch of distinction.
I like the hood ornament, too.
It's nice, isn't it? It's the Plymouth ship, a trademark for quality. But as you see, it's been beautifully stylized into a single forward-thrusting spar of chrome.
Did you notice how Jack mentioned the term forward-thrusting from national advertising? He wanted to double the impact of his own presentation by tying in with terms the prospect might be familiar with. And he hit hard on the increased size of our car. For in dimensions and styling, the big Plymouth presents a picture of a much more expensive automobile. Now he's going to turn to one of the outstanding new features, the new full-view windshield. Once more, he doesn't just point to it, he sells it.
See how our new windshield is really part of the overall design? It carries out the flowing action lines of the car.
Yes, but it doesn't really, well, look too different. Has there been much change?
Yes, sir. Let me show you.
Hey, what are you going to do with the masking tape?
When I tell you how our new full-view windshield is a true wraparound windshield, I want to show you that I really mean what I say. Now, this masking tape shows where the corner post used to be on last year's model. But on this new Plymouth, the post has actually been set back all that distance on each side. Now, what some of our competition does, roughly, is swing just the bottom of the post back. That leaves them with an abrupt vertical corner post that does little for the driver and gives a chopped-off effect to the leading edge of the roof. But by moving the whole post back, Plymouth gives you more visibility at the top corner as well as the bottom corner. And that streamlined angle is more natural. It gives a more finished look to the entire automobile.
Oh, yeah, I can see that now.
By the way, how do you folks like this color? It's Tampa turquoise with black.
It is nice.
Me, I got a yen for red.
Well, sir, we can give you that, too. It's called Seminole Scarlet. I can show you the entire line in our Plymouth album. As you can see, Mr. Bailey, Plymouth offers a wide selection of the most popular colors, and they're all long-lasting baked-on enamel.
Yes, Jack makes good use of his new Plymouth sales album to help him sell the car. All along, he is using sound salesmanship to take advantage of his prospect's first impression and enthusiasm. And how about the technique he used on the windshield? I mean that colored masking tape to show the former position of the corner posts. I think you'll find that is effective for two reasons. One, it again proves the useful beauty of Plymouth's all-new styling. And two, it puts your point across in a really dramatic and effective way. But right now, let's pause for a moment before we go on with Jack's presentation.
Any way you look at it, this new Plymouth is going places. Back here, don't you like the way these taillights are ringed with chrome? The lenses stand out just like jewels, so you can see them even in profile. And notice how the contour of these lenses is repeated by the curve of the deck lid and rear body panel. Incidentally, this curvature also helps to make the rear deck unusually strong and rigid. By the way, Mr. Bailey, do you have to use a key every time you open the luggage compartment of your present car?
Yes, and it's a pain in the neck.
Not on this new Plymouth. You see, you can leave the luggage compartment unlocked, even with the lid shut. Then anytime you want to get inside, just a push of your thumb and the lid opens all by itself. And you can do that with both arms full of groceries without bothering to fish out your key. But here's what'll make your eyes pop. Just look at all the luggage space you'll have in your new 55 Plymouth. More than in last year's model, and that already had the biggest luggage compartment in the low-price field. Look, no stick-out hinges either. Our new hinging arrangement can't get in the way or scar your luggage. What's more, the wheel housings are well forward, and Plymouth has tucked the gas tank filler behind the spare tire in space that wasn't usable for luggage anyway. The tank filler tube is well shielded, so there's no chance of fumes getting in the compartment. And say, I wouldn't want to overlook the way Plymouth has finished the interior of the luggage compartment. That decorative fiberboard paneling and matching floor mat show our stylists pay attention to every detail.
Jack certainly gets a lot of sales value out of the luggage compartment, doesn't he? It presents real owner benefits people can see, benefits our competition can't show. Now he's about to present the interior.
I'd like you to see these new push-button door handles. They operate a full rotary latch. It's the most durable and easy operating kind of latch there is. What's more, you never have to worry about a Plymouth door coming open on the road. The motion of the car actually tends to latch the door even more tightly.
Say, there's a good feature.
Here's something else. This Plymouth has vent wings, not just in front, but on all four doors. That means the passengers in the back seat have their own complete ventilation control. By the way, do you folks have children?
2 of them, a boy and a girl.
Pretty young, I suppose.
One's 5 and one's 3.
Well, here's an important safety feature for them. When you push the door lock, neither the outside nor the inside handle can be turned.
Why, our Bobby is always fiddling with the door handle when he rides in back. This would certainly ease my mind.
Notice how Jack drew out that information about the kids and then used it to drive home a very telling sales point? Now he's going on to sell more owner benefits of Plymouth's all-new styling.
Would you step inside, Mrs. Bailey?
Thanks, I'd like to.
Ladies always appreciate the way these Plymouth doors let you get in and out with complete ease.
Hey, looks like there's a lot of room in there.
Yes, and it's so comfortable.
You know, Plymouth has always led the field when it comes to interior roominess.
Hey, I never knew that.
It's a fact, and yet, even in designing a car as sleek and as low as this, they still haven't sacrificed one bit of that inside room. You sit on cushions that hold you comfortably erect with plenty of leg room and hat room. Now, if you'll step around here, Mr. Bailey, I'll show you what we've done up front for 55. There. Just feast your eyes on that luxury layout. Isn't that beautiful?
It sure is.
That's because Plymouth has carried the same basic color scheme all the way through the interior. On the instrument panel, the steering wheel, garnish moldings, trim panels, seat bolsters, carpeting. Even on the package shelf. Believe me, that takes a lot of doing to match up the same color in all these different materials. But Plymouth did it. And I think you'll agree the results are mighty pleasing. Would you like to step in, Mr. Bailey? Notice the functional instrument panel. And incidentally, that's a no-glare finish on top, so there'll be no dangerous light reflections. You'll go for these driving controls, too, Mr. Bailey. For instance, here's something everybody's talking about. Flight control. On cars equipped with power flight, the selector lever is on the instrument panel. And why not? With power flight, you use that lever so seldom that it belongs with the other controls on the instrument panel. It's easy to reach, and there's nothing new to learn. I think you'll like these heater and defroster controls, too. Notice how simple they are, and so handy, right where you want them. And say, notice this brand new, wide-suspended brake pedal.
Hey, now there's a brake pedal you can find in a hurry, and with your left foot if you want to.
Yes, and that's not all. Have you ever had your accelerator pedal get stuck?
Darn right I have. Scared me, too.
Well, that won't ever happen when you're driving a Plymouth. You see, with this heel-pivoted accelerator, there's no push rod to get stuck. Also, there are no floor holes to let in dirt and road noise and drafts. Now, how about that view through the new windshield?
Yeah, really puts you in charge of this job.
Notice that there's plenty of visibility for seeing the street corner and at traffic light level with our windshield. Incidentally, another reason for that in-charge feeling is this Plymouth chair height seat. It gives your legs full support for restful driving and puts you up where you can really see the road. And you'll like this seat adjuster for moving the seat both up and forward. And unlike a lot of adjusters, this one really operates by fingertip control. And how about this? The glove compartment right in the center where it belongs, with the cowl vent control below. That's two more items that Plymouth has placed for your convenience, for you to use without any acrobatics.
I'd just like you to notice how Jack handled the new position of the power flight selector lever. Plymouth leads its class with this feature, so Jack started selling it the minute he mentioned it. Now he has some answers ready for the feminine influence.
This upholstery is what catches my eye. It's a boucle, isn't it?
Yes, that's catching the eye of all our visitors. It's black magic boucle with lurex silver threads running through it, and it's an exclusive with Plymouth. And the bolsters are doeskin vinyl. Never have to worry about sticky finger marks on this material. They wipe right off with a damp cloth. And by the way, take a look at this floor covering, Mrs. Bailey. That's genuine loop twist, just like a fine living room carpet. You know from your own experience how that material stands up in use. That's one way your new Plymouth will keep its new car look for years.
Notice how Jack pitched that remark to Mrs. Bailey? Why? Because fine carpeting is something a woman can understand and appreciate. And notice how he appealed to her own experience to put over his point. He's selling the 1955 Plymouth in terms his prospects are familiar with. And incidentally, he's already talking about their new Plymouth. Notice how thoroughly Jack has covered the interior of this new Plymouth. He's been selling such great new owner benefits as roominess, color-matched interior styling, no-glare instrument panel, the dials, steering wheel and horn button, fabric and doeskin vinyl upholstery, loop twist floor covering. And he's brought out the benefits of flight control, a wide suspended brake pedal, heel-pivoted accelerator, chair height seats, fingertip seat control, handy location of the controls, and the glove compartment in the center. And now that Jack has impressed his prospects with Plymouth on the showroom floor, he's pretty sure he can clinch the sale by demonstrating the car in action.
So I'd like to take you folks out in the demonstrator right now. Then you can see for yourselves that this new design pays off in a smooth riding, easy handling car.
Well, sure, I guess we can do that. As a matter of fact, I'd like to.
Yes, it looks like this salesman has made a real impression on Mr. and Mrs. Bailey. They came, as many will come to your dealership, with a general impression that Plymouth 455 is a beautiful car. They were met by a real salesman, one who took advantage of every one of the sales potent features, because he knew that although folks are pleased with the new Plymouth look, that fact alone doesn't deliver any cars. So he gave them reasons for liking Plymouth, which became reasons for owning Plymouth. His presentation was aimed at giving a full understanding and appreciation of the benefits of Plymouth's dramatic new style. That's salesmanship. When you know the owner benefits of each new Plymouth feature, when you know how to present them effectively, then you'll be on your way to making 1955 your biggest Plymouth sales year.